Dragon Age writer blames anti-fans for game failures while ignoring industry's role in massive flops. David Gator, former lead writer on Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Inquisition, is drawing new attention for comments made in a recent interview, blah blah blah, so-called anti-fans. Chat, apparently criticizing anything, it makes you an anti-fan. Yeah, criticism equals anti-fan. In the piece, Guider criticizes what he calls anti-fans, individuals who he claims actively work to see certain games fail as a form of punishment for creative decisions they disagree with, or newsflash, it just sucks. Then they turn from what you want, fans who would go out and spread the word of your game and get people interested. But if you get anti-fans, they sort of do the opposite. They're very determined, suddenly, to see your game fail as some sort of lesson to others who would make games of the same type. God, this is such cope. We're off to a great start, to be completely honest with you. Yes, bro, the anti-fans are the reason Veilguard failed, chat. Not the fact that it was a dog shit game with dog shit writing by mentally ill activists that couldn't help but self-insert themselves into the game. The reason this is so funny is because they're just pretending that people like them. People like them haven't been trying to like ham-fist their shit and their ideology into gaming for the last 10 years. You don't have anti-fans, bro. You have gamers that are sick and tired of your bullshit. That's it. Like, really? That's what we're gonna say? No, man, it's not true. And you know what's sad? Is that this is insanely tone deaf. The insanely tone deaf part about this is that we just went over an article, I think it was like, last week, about how the corpos thought you'd eat slop. And they thought that, like, what was the quote? The nerds in the cave would show up and support an RPG because it's an RPG. That's not how it works. I don't support every MMO that comes on the market, for example, even though I'm an MMO nerd. So not only did you self-insert and have terrible writing, litter the game with your shitty fucking virtue signaling, add top surgery scars to a game with magic and fucking shapeshifting. But you also tried to change the core of the game to try and appeal to an audience that doesn't give a single fuck about you and your stupid ass games. These people are gonna cry and shit and piss their fucking pants for years instead of taking one singular ounce of accountability. Because it's impossible for them. It's completely and unequivocally your fault that your game failed. It's not anti-fans, it's fans, like fans of Origin who hate seeing such amazing IPs getting fucked into the dirt. Yes, that's how I feel about Blizzard, man. There's so many people who just grew up on Blizzard video games and it's the same thing happening to them, except like on a bigger scale, I suppose. Because Dragon Age hasn't been around as long as Blizzard IPs have been. It makes people very upset and very, very sad.
Yo, smugglers, here to quickly interrupt your latest React viewing to tell you about this adorable SmugAlana Fire plushie. Kick it, print it, do whatever you want, but she goes away forever, ever, on June 24th, so grab yours while you can.
Refrigerant Beandog. Fandom, identity, and culture clash. Oh, here we go. Okay, alright, I'm ready. In the interview, Guider went on to argue that fandoms have changed, becoming more intertwined with personal identity and more hostile toward creative deviations. More and more fandoms are making the things that they're fans of integral to their identity, he said. And if it's integral to their identity, anything that affects it or insults it, insults them. Yes, because when you change something integral like Warhammer, people are gonna fucking notice, man. It's so cringe, man. The comments come amid growing online discourse around titles like Dragon Age the Veilguard and Concord, both of which have faced extensive fan criticism over gameplay direction and perceived ideological messaging. Guider, who has not worked at BioWare since January 2016, did not contribute to Veilguard, which was developed long after his departure. The game was released in October 2024 and met with divisive reception from longtime fans. Chat, I don't understand this, like, perceived ideological messaging. Yes, brother, you're right. There was absolutely zero ideological messaging in either of those games. Top surgery scars were like a natural choice. It just flowed, chat. You definitely weren't trying the virtue signal. You're right, honey. Concord is an actually really good game. You're right. Yes, sweetie. It's an insanely good game. It's just the Chud's fault that this happened and that it got ripped off the shelves by Sony within like 2 weeks of launching, I think it was. Was it 2 or 2.5 weeks? It blows my mind that they can't comprehend that people don't want to buy their garbage. They literally can't take it out. It's like this profound version of mental illness where every time you get proven wrong, the fans don't buy your game. Your target audience doesn't buy your game. You get eviscerated on Twitter, and you have zero defense for this blatant virtue signaling. Yet their mental illness is unironically so powerful that they just completely ignore all of that and just start blaming the fans, or like or calling everyone chuds, or the right-wing grifters and YouTubers and literally anything else, all the while the actual game is mid, maybe like a 5 or a 6 at best, if you're feeling generous. It's really embarrassing and sad. I can't, man. These people are crazy. Yeah, those darn chuds not buying the slop, how dare they? But it's an RPG, all the RPG fans need to come, yes! I already read this. Yeah, I got a little bit distracted, I apologize. Technical identity, blah, blah, blah. Right, this is what I was talking about, right? With the Warhammer thing and like things changing. He's right, actually, fandoms did change. And he's also right that some people make the things they're fans of their entire identity. I totally get that. I know some people in chat that have seen people who are like way too into Sonic or Zelda or Mario or whatever the game is, like Warhammer. And those people exist, but that's not why your fandom changed. Your fandom changed because you decided to alienate them to try and appeal to this like new modern woke audience that doesn't even fucking play their game. And surprise, they don't give a fuck about you, man. But all those cave nerds, they did, and now they're pissed because you decided to try and feed them slop to appeal to retards and Karens that were never gonna buy your game anyway. He added that this evolution is making it harder for game developers to engage with the broader player base, and his hostility often drowns out genuine criticism. This, in his view, has led to developers withdrawing from public forums to avoid culture war flare-ups. Oh no. The devs withdrew from public forums to avoid culture war flare-ups. You know what this actually means, chat? Let me translate this one for you. The devs left Twitter and went to Blue Sky because they hired a bunch of soft blue-haired Karens that don't like being told that top surgery scars shouldn't be in a game with magic and shape-shifting. That's what he's trying to say. This is so PR talked, but it's true. Guider's framing echoes arguments previously made by other developers attached to controversial or underperforming projects, but criticism from fans is redefined as targeted antagonism. But that argument falls apart when stacked against the performances of games like Dragon Age the Veilguard. This wasn't a small group of so-called anti-fans taking a game out of spite. It was the broader gaming audience that turned it away. From underwhelming preview reactions to low pre-order numbers and poor community sentiment, the sign of rejection were widespread and organic. The game didn't fail because of targeted sabotage. It failed because the market responded honestly. When a title doesn't resonate with long longtime fans or general players, it's not a conspiracy, it's a product problem. Blaming criticism rather than confronting creative missteps only widens the disconnect between the developers and their audience. Really, you think so? Facts? Yes, it's crazy to me that they can't just be honest with themselves. Honestly, if you buy normie fans, it's your own fault if you get upset over shit like this. But that's not true, because Dragon Age wasn't for normies initially. That's what I disagree with. It's kind of like how WoW used to be a game for like basement dwelling, maybe like older college nerds or like younger kids, and it slowly devolved in that sense when they started catering to everyone. Yeah, I'd say Dragon Age, the first one, I didn't hear about it until not the first one, but Dragon Age, the one that came onto Xbox, I didn't hear about it until then. I'd say the first one, I didn't even know about it at all. Guider's anti-fan remarks land in the middle of continued backlash over Dragon Age, the Veilguard, a game widely seen as a departure from BioWare's traditional RPG design. Critics have pointed to simplified mechanics, lack of player agency, and story themes that many believe reflect broader industry trends prioritizing message over gameplay. Chat, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna reiterate a point we've made before. These people that love to push woke ideology into video games never make their own franchises. 99 times out of 100, they are infiltrating the dev teams of established franchises with large fan bases, and then they try to slowly convert the game into one that matches their, their ideas, their ideological beliefs. They're like actual parasites. If their ideas were popular, they'd be able to write their own stories and create their own games and make their own titles, but they're not, and they know they're not doing that. And so every single time they successfully infiltrate another AAA studio like BioWare or whatever that wants to make some money off of the modern audience, the mass majority of people don't want to hear it. They vote with their wallet, and then they don't buy the fucking game. And then they cry about the fucking chuds, or in this case, the word is what? The anti-fan? And then the anti-fan's the real problem, and the game would have succeeded if mean old Asmongold didn't run a hate campaign against this fucking, against their company or their game or whatever. It's so pathetic. It's pathetic behavior, and everyone can see it for what it is. And the fact that they think that, like, Asmongold unironically holds that much power is really, really pathetic. It's like, in the grand scheme of things, Asmongold is a drop in the bucket. They don't realize that the mass majority of gamers don't actually watch Asmongold content. He is technically a niche audience. To be honest, y'all didn't help, but it's also the free market. They gotta deal with it. Making people aware of a bad game, and it's not even a public... The argument here stems from the fact that you think that he holds a mainstream majority audience in the world. That's just not true. He's not some fucking massive journalist, man. Though Guider had no role in the Veilguard, his commentary is being interpreted by some fans as a defense of a studio that many feel has lost its way. Yeah, because all the people that made BioWare great all left. Like, why are we surprised at this point? Dude, it was mid. The Dragon Age, the Veilguard was mid at best. It was a 5. Even the nicest people out there said it was like a 5 or a 6. It's not stellar. It's just like mid. They love to pretend that like they made this like absolute fucking masterpiece, but terrible cringe writing and like top surgery scars aside, it was like a mid fucking game. Nothing special. And then to top it off, it was also a different, it was different from the original Dragon Age game, so none of the core fans showed up and even really wanted to play it, to be completely honest. But you can't say that! That's what the chuds say! That's not true, it's the chuds' fault, guys! It's worth noting that in the same interview, despite all his talks about anti-fans, the Guider admitted that he stayed at BioWare he would have likely left during the early development of Dragon Age the Veilguard anyway, citing his EA push towards live service elements, which was ultimately abandoned after the failure of Anthem. Oh my god, dude. Even if I had stayed, I would have left eventually. What a devil's contract that would have been, he told Games Radar. While Guider's frustration with hostile online discourse surrounding Dragon Age and other titles may be understandable to some, his depictions of fans as anti-fans raises uncomfortable questions about how much responsibility developers bear for the reception their games receive. Gamers are not a monolith, but dismissing a segment of the audience as saboteurs for expressing dissatisfaction with the game's direction may do more harm than good. Buh, what, you think so? Boo-boo? Yeah. Especially when faced with the objective reality of massive gaming flops. As BioWare struggles to reclaim its spot, its once dominant reputation, perhaps listening rather than lecturing would be a better starting point. Good point from whoever wrote this article. Listen and not lecture. But that's impossible for the people that push this garbage because they're all Karens. Karens only lecture. That's just how they are. Everything you do is offensive and they're gonna tell you all about it. Nobody cares. Like, when did Veilguard launch again? Like last year? I think it was like April or May? I forget. Like, we're a full 6 to 8 months out from this absolute disaster. And these people are still crying about their game failing. Not specifically the guy writing the article. It's the what is it called? The guider guy. And they're still crying to this day that nobody liked Veilguard. You want to know why they cried so much? Because they have a lot of time to do so. Because most of them lost their jobs, or their job isn't actually that important. This is what you get. Stop subverting franchises that aren't yours. Go make your own game. But you won't, because you're creatively bankrupt and you know it's gonna fail and you're gonna lose a bunch of money. There are good games with trans characters too that don't do it in ham-fisted stupid way like Veilguard did, like Baldur's Gate 3. Yes, in Baldur's Gate 3 you can fuck anybody. You can have a penis or a cock. Like, who the fuck cares? That's what I always say. People are like, oh, Alana, you're such a chud. And I'm like, actually, I'm not. You can play whoever the fuck you want. You can fuck whoever the fuck you want. And you can kill whoever you want in the game. In Veilguard, you can't even kill your own companions. You can't kill the annoying main character bitch because you just can't. It's so cringe. I hate it. I hate it so fucking much. Yeah, it's kind of it. Like, this article is really good for showing that this guider guy, this person that didn't even work on Dragon Age the Veilguard, he's like, it's just the fucking chuds, like the fucking the cave gamers are at fault. Like, stop it, man. We just want good games. Also, why are you insulting your own fucking audience at this point? I was annoyed at Gale interpreting any degree of civility as flirting. No, you idiot is a wizard. I don't want to date you. And you can kill Gale. You can. You just can, or tell him to fuck off. You can't do that in this game. True RPG, by the way. But again, people don't put Larian on blast because they want players over and they trust them. BioWare lost that. Even the chuds. You saw on Twitter, the chuds, quote unquote, the right-wingers, loved Baldur's Gate 3 because you could do whatever the fuck you want in it. Even the chuds liked it. The fat chunguses that are like, I hate the trans people, you know? Those people on Twitter, they exist, absolutely. I'm not even gonna deny that. But they loved the game because it doesn't matter. They got to do whatever the fuck they wanted. You could tell annoying characters to fuck off or kill them.